Haroldson Lafayette Hunt. This guy at one point was the richest man in the world. He was producing much of the world's oil at one point through World War II. Just an insane guy.
A multi-millionaire. Estimates put his worth at between 300 and 500 million pounds, and his weekly income at about £500,000. That is over £75,000 a day.
You know, had so many connections and so much power and really made an impact in his day. He had 15 children and just lived one of the most incredible lives. All of that work, all of that effort, all of that energy, all of that legacy, really his legacy has lived on through his family. And that's where we come to modern day Chiefs winning, and they are owned by his family. As I think about that, and as I think about the legacy that I'm trying to leave and the work that I'm trying to do and the work that we're all trying to do as we are running our businesses, as we're starting our venues, as we're looking to leave our own mark, it's insane to realize that sometimes the things that we get hung up on in the daily, in the micro, are not really that important. You think about someone who has as much power and control as this guy had at one point, and many of us don't know who he is. So for me, that lightens the load a little bit when I think about the impact that my decisions make, and just thinking it's more important for me to stay focused on the things that I can impact in a huge way, the growth that I can have, instead of staying focused on the things that have happened behind me, or the mistakes that I've made, or the different things that I've done that maybe have slowed me down. Instead of focusing on all that, focus forward, you know, and sometimes the opinions of others, the things that I'm worried about, you know, what if I try this and it doesn't work out? What if I make a mistake? What if all of the doubts, all of the maybe things that would hold me back in my mind, they shouldn't. I should feel really freed up to try as hard as I can, make mistakes, push forward, reach for the stars, reach for everything that I can reach for, seek to impact the most amount of people possible, seek to serve the most amount of people possible, show up on platforms like what we're doing here on the podcast or YouTube, have as many employees as possible that I can help them take care of their families, help them live better lives. And so as we're thinking about this as venue owners, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, it's really important not to live inside a box of your own creating. There is this mythical animal, if you've watched any of the prequels to the Harry Potter movies, there's this animal that basically conforms to the shape of the container that it is housed in. It's able to fit in this tiny little thing, but then when he lets it out, right, it fills the entire room. And I think people are like that. It's very easy to fill the room or the space that you're in, and a lot of times we put ourselves in a smaller space or a smaller room than we should be in. We might allow people to say, you're not that person, you're not that guy, you're not that girl, oh, you're not capable of that. And we make these limiting statements about ourselves that kind of put us in this container, and we are that mythological creature, right? We fill the container that we're put in, and whether we are putting ourselves in that container or other people are putting us in that container and we're allowing ourselves to stay there, we are limiting our own horizons. And ultimately, you know, we're really not able to fully fulfill the mission that we were put on earth to do. We're never going to be able to find, you know, what we're truly capable of. This Hunt family, that 3 generations later, they're owning this team that win the Super Bowl. This guy way back when did all of these crazy things, but he accomplished things that few people will accomplish. And I think that to do that, you have to constantly be looking for opportunities. You've got to find the biggest container possible that you can live your life and really find where you best can serve people, where you best can leverage your skills and abilities to impact the world around you. And when you do that, you're able to really truly see your potential. It sometimes is very easy to create excuses for things just being the way they are because things are difficult or because you have that problem employee. When you talk about these things, instead of talking in solution-based conversations and saying, hey, we have this problem, this is how we're planning on solving it, we just say, hey, we have this problem. And that creates that wall. And they say, oh, we have this problem. And that's why we can't do this. And that's why we can't do that. And that's why, and that's why, and that's why, and that's why. So you create this box and then you can never get out of it. And you start losing the joy in your business. You start losing your passion. You start losing your excitement for it. And as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you know, someone who is new in a space, there is a sense of excitement and anticipation and joy and interest in what you're doing. And as you go through life, it's easy to kind of have these boxes and these walls put around you. And if you are in this position where you feel like you've lost some of your joy, you felt like you're kind of in this box, you're not appropriately using your gifts and abilities, take a look and just see what's around you, the things that you're speaking about your environment, the things you're speaking about your team, and kind of start auditing yourself a little bit to say, okay, what walls am I putting around myself? And then audit your circle. What walls is my circle putting around me? What they holding me accountable to? Maybe that's your vendor group. Maybe that is the coordinators that you have on property. Maybe that's managers you have in your business. You know, maybe as an entrepreneur, maybe that's the first couple people that you've brought on that have disappointed you, that you fired, or who sued you, or there was some problem and you're like, never again. You know, you kind of have this chip on your shoulder now, right? Understand what are those things that have created those walls, those ceilings for you that you're now living in and living under, and challenge that a little bit. Push back against that. Push back against yourself a little bit and realize, you know, the more that you tolerate those ceilings in your business, the more you tolerate those ceilings in your life, you're not going to truly grow to the capacity that you have to grow in. I think we owe it to ourselves to truly realize and figure out what we're here to do, what our potential is, and how we can best leverage the strengths, the abilities, the gifts, the problems, right? The experiences, the pain that we've had. How do we leverage that in order to grow? Anyway, hope this has been helpful, and I will see you all in the next video.